What's the weirdest dating requirement you have? She should have things to do outside of me. Friends, hobbies, a career, something that takes time away from me. I don't want to spend every waking moment with someone because it just leads to burnout. I have my friends and my hobbies that I prefer doing solo. To me, it's not healthy or sustainable to get all of your social needs met by a single person, regardless of the role they have in your life. Don't get me wrong, I love spending quality time, waking up next to someone I love, sharing interests, and making lasting memories together, but it can't be 100 of the time. I have that weird self-sabotage thing where I fall for women straight guy that I explicitly know to have red flags in one way or the other. Nonetheless, that's the ones I fall in love with and then I have a shitty time. While like currently I may have a girl being in love with me that is great in character, but I am somehow just not attracted to. Definitely something I should talk to with a therapist if I had one. To be pretentious about it, brain and heart are misaligned. And my dick's on the hearth side too, it's awful. Anyone who wears nail polish often. I know that is completely 100 my problem, but I can't stand nail polish. It's physically repulsive. There is no concrete reason, it's completely irrational. So if I hang out with her and see she wears it often, I also look at social media pics or whatever, then I'll probably keep my distance. I'm taken now, by a woman who thankfully doesn't care for it, but when I was on the dating market that was the weirdest thing for sure. I used to take first dates to a little hole-in-the-wall Chinese place, order miso pork, and see if they were comfortable making the pork rolls and eating with their fingers. If yes, I then asked if they thought it was true that the plum sauce was made from pigeon blood. Their response to that often led to some really fun times, oddly enough, because usually the conversation immediately changed from first date cautious to hey, are you insane? No religious people, must be somewhat organized, I hate dirty people who leave things everywhere. Must be open-minded. I once dated a girl who didn't like English. I'm Mexican to the point where she just hated everything in English and had zero interest on learning it. And I don't date girls who like to party or drink. And yeah, if you're wondering, I do have a GF at the moment. I'm not dating currently, but if and when I do, the woman I date must have fewer or more than 5 names. I've had 2 relationships in my adult life, both of them with women that had 5 names. I don't think that's the reason they failed. I have a lot of flaws and being in relationships tends to accentuate my worst qualities, but no sense taking silly chances. Don't wear shit gear where I can see your fucking feet on a first date. I'll leave. I've left. And I will do so till the end of time. I know this is my problem. I just can't look at strangers' toes and actively avoid them. The beach has me in a panic. I look up so much I trip. Dudes wearing sandals? I can't describe what I feel. I'm good at eye contact. Let's say that. You need a respectable taste in music and movies. Like Nick Hornby said, what really matters is what you like, not what you are like. I can't tell what kind of person you are just by your taste. If Insane Clown Posse is in your radar, we can't even be friends. If you think Jeff Dunham is funny, don't even look at me. I'm a snob, but it's for a good reason. Not sure how weird it is, but my rule is that I pay for myself every step of the way until we decide to become a couple, then we can split the bills, or take turns treating each other, etc. if that is what we both choose. Too many times I let a guy buy me dinner, and it is somehow implied that I now owe him something. Nope. All done with that. They have spent at least 1 year living financially independent, preferably without too much stress. A lot of my exes were terrible with money, which always made money a major stressor in our relationship. If I know they are decent at budgeting by themselves, then we, as a couple, will be able to have more fun and less stress. I want someone who's overcome adversity on their own in life, preferably in late teens to adult life. I feel like these types of people value life and those around them very highly and have high morals. Usually those with an easy or never had to work hard in life tend to be more selfish in my personal experience. Must be quiet about their political views. I don't want to hear it. It's fine to hold a party affiliation, but if that defines you, I'm out without hesitation. Political extremists are the most hateful, awful, self-righteous people I've met, regardless of right or left. They can both fuck right off. Based on a date I had back in May. I now have a you know my name when we meet. We were texting that day to confirm etc. 30 minutes before meeting. How do you meet me and say what's your name again? And guess a wrong name? Oh well, smiley face. Going on bad dates has at least made the process more relaxing. No picky eaters. I like to cook, and I like it when people enjoy the things I make. I also don't cook toddler food because I don't eat like a toddler. Honestly, I find that if someone is a super picky eater, it's an indication that they are going to have a lot of other incompatibilities with me. Is able to walk long periods of time. If we are traveling and we have to stop every 15 minutes to rest your legs, we are missing out on the potential sights to see. Public transport is cool, but I want to see the city buildings via walking or biking, not the underground sketchy subway that is always late. Gay dude here, and I refuse to date a bloke that I don't think would at least have a decent chance of beating me in a fight. I'm tall but by no means muscular, small about of training but just basics. If I think I could easily beat you in a fight, I can't be attracted to you. Very weird, I know. No video games. The reason it's weird is because I play video games and really enjoy them. The problem is I have yet to date someone who can control their playing time without it becoming an obsession. Even when they swear they aren't that into video games, that ends up being untrue. No Miracle Whip people, if you can even call them people. I was raised in a strict mayonnaise home, and we weren't allowed to mix with Miracle Whip people. It might not be P.C., but I think they should just stay in their own neighborhoods, and not bother us hard-working mayo folk. Needs to have healthy straight legs, meaning no legs into X or O, no feet into V or lambda, and walk properly. Both of my parents are physiotherapists, masseurs. I grew up in household correcting posture and motion habits. I can't look at people who have awry legs walk, it hurts me. She should actually like me and want to do stuff with me. Some guys I know seem to be perfectly happy dating a woman who seems to simply tolerate their presence but not actually desire it. It comes off as I'm just with this dude because I think I need to have a man in my life. Mine was a willingness to go to theme parks. I love theme parks, and it would be devastating for me if they hated rides. Also, to me, it says a lot if you actually dislike theme parks. I think you have to be a particularly miserable person to be around if that's the case. If she thinks she's a better person than someone who has a career in a trade job solely because she has a college degree of any kind, I have a college degree, and no, it's not about jealousy, it's about respect, modesty and humbleness. That to me is a deal breaker. They're okay with me living with my girlfriend. I'm polyamorous. Something I'm very clear about from the get-go. It's a big hurdle for most people, so I don't even try to meet people out and about. I meet people through specific apps and friends who are poly. While have some requirements like the other person being able to work, drive, doesn't cheat or illegal activities, and doesn't treat people like crap. Probably all the things I've been through. I have a no BS policy. Seems like I met others in the same situation. No getting up at 6 AM to do CrossFit. No drinking and driving. No crazy ex that seems to hang around with him a lot. And most importantly, no watching porn in the middle of the night and then wanking into my bathroom sink because it's just the right height. No heavy drinkers, but weed is okay. I don't mind someone who has an occasional drink, but I've dated alcoholics and potheads, and I much prefer the potheads. I'll take chubby from the munchies over holding back hair when they're puking crying every time. I refuse to date women with only male friends. In my experience, if there isn't a single woman in her friend group, then either other women don't like her or she doesn't like other women. In either case, something isn't right and you should probably bounce. Can't call Caligula or Nero a bad emperor. Caligula was getting revenge for his family's murder, and Nero was just an artistic man who didn't want to be emperor. The bad emperors are the Severans, all of them, Diocletian, Honorius, and Commodus. Must read. Reading means that someone is curious and or wants to learn. I had a date that said he never read. Wasn't into documentary or vulgarization. To me, it was a big turn off, and I realized I needed someone with whom I could talk about books. Must be natural female at birth gender. No criminal background. Sane. Drug-free. No current nor former drug addicts nor sex workers. At least high school graduate, responsible and compassionate. Reasonably normal. Must be animal lover. First 3 dates need to be 50-50. After that, it becomes more loose, and I actually like gifting each other with dates, but I know that sentiment will get abused if I follow the typical paradigm that the one who asks is the one who pays. She needs to have an outgoing, life of the party type personality. I come across as an introvert, but in reality, I'm the world's shyest extrovert. So I need someone else to do the heavy lifting for me in social situations. You have to be so focused on yourself and career that you barely have time for me. Because then you'd be like me, not having time for you, then every moment we have together would be a fiery whirlwind of emotion and passion. If it's a first date, we pay for ourselves. None of this, it's a man's job to pay for the date, that way if it doesn't work out there's no hard feelings of bitch order 200 pounds worth of food and drink then ghosted me. I don't think it's weird, but a lot of people told me it's weird, so here I go. 1. Absolutely no smoking. 2. No drinking unless there's an occasion, and even then only in moderation. 3. No drugs. 4. No drama. Don't take me to meet your drug dealer on the first date. Or any date. Because if I had a nickel for every time this happened I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot but it's weird it has happened twice. He can't make more money than me, crying face. I know it's weird as a woman. But I hate dudes telling me I need to settle down and wear moo-moo dresses. I want it lively and free. Let me pay for your coffee boo, I require my date to be single. Not we have an understanding, not she doesn't understand me and not we're separated and neither of us can afford an apartment on our own. Single. Not married. The month goes first. I do not care for your ascending order BS, the month gives you the most information about what season time of the year the date is, it's the most important. It goes first. Not a strict requirement but would be nice to marry someone who has a last name that begins with a particular letter so that my initials will still be the first 3 letters of my first name. If she gives herself more compliments than she gives me, I'm out. Clear sign of a narcissist. Not that weird of a requirement I guess, just something I've learned the hard way more than once. It's all about having a good time. If we aren't having a good time like staring at phones, unnatural, uninteresting conversation then what the F gay are we even doing? Not that weird but yeah, I won't say it's an absolute requirement, but I will seriously think about it if he doesn't have this trait he needs to have very similar interests with me. Or else I will soon be bored.